Gnome-Mobile is certainly a very quaint little Disney film. I discovered this when I was looking at lists on Letterboxd that people had created of Disney films, and I saw the cast for this one and got quite excited. I read the description and thought, well, let's give it a go anyway. And I can now conclude that it's got a very catchy song. It's relatively well directed, actually, but it's not the best film ever, to put it plainly. I think there are reasons why I had never heard of it before. But this film was originally released in 1967, directed by Robert Stevenson, and written by Ellis Caterson, based apparently on a book by Upton Sinclair. If you've read the book and you know how it compares, please feel free to let me know. And the narrative, I'll read the description from IMDb, but I won't give any spoilers because even though ordinarily I wouldn't recommend it because it's not great, but I would recommend it if you're a fan of Disney and you're trying to watch all of their films because there's something sweet about it and a bit more innocent than today's films. So if you're a casual film viewer, maybe give it a miss, but if you're a Disney fan or a fan of this kind of film, give it a watch, but maybe not for the usual reasons of entertainment. So the description from IMDb is as follows. In the Redwood Forests of California, a multi-millionaire lumberman and his two young grandchildren encounter two gnomes who are supposedly the last of their kind. We'll discuss the concept of the gnomes in a moment, but I just want to talk about the two young grandchildren. The grandchildren are Elizabeth and Rodney Winthrop, played by Karen Dotrice and Matthew Garber, respectively. Dotrice and Garber played Jane and Michael Banks in Mary Poppins, I think 3 years before this film came out. Jane and Michael Banks in another film, absolutely love it. There's also a third film that they did together. But I really, really love Karen Dotrice. Fantastic child actress, and just her face reminds me of my childhood because I did watch Mary Poppins repeatedly. And for what it's worth, that is my favourite Disney musical. This is not a musical, but it does have a song in it, or a couple of songs that are very catchy, and I will give credit where credit is due. The song is pretty addictive with a really fantastic addictive rhythm to it and some pretty funky lyrics. So even if you don't want to watch the film, check it out on YouTube. I'm sure the song will be on there somewhere. It's pretty addictive. Annoyingly addictive, but good fun. So these gnomes, I will say these gnomes look like regular people. They don't look like your kind of stereotypical garden gnome, which I think that was the right decision that they made there. The only difference is that they are obviously a lot smaller. And given that it was the 60s, I think they did some really brilliant editing and also camera work with getting dimensions right and perspectives, with these individuals being much smaller than even the children. I think that worked very well. The interaction between the gnome characters and the children, particularly the first encounter that Elizabeth has with the first gnome, I think is really lovely. It's really sweet and innocent and so pleasing. She cries a lot in this film though, this character, which actually is probably what my reactions would have been like as a child, so it's very realistic with that. And the narrative itself as it develops is quite sweet. They're searching for other gnomes, they encounter various problems along the way, and they can't let other humans know about these gnomes. So obviously there's a big threat that if they do that it could cause potential problems. There's also, well, there are a few things that are not necessarily politically correct in this, but generally speaking it's innocent, it's fun, it's something I think young children will find really entertaining. Certainly back in the day, it's the kind of film I would have loved growing up. I have no recollection of it. I don't remember it at all. I can't say that I'd ever seen it as a child, but had I done, I think I would have had a lot of fun with it. As an adult, I can appreciate its quaint cheesiness. I love the casting, particularly Karen Dotrice. Genuinely quite impressed with the editing and the camera work for the gnomes. The songs very engaging, but generally speaking, it's not the most well-developed or gripping narrative. It's an alright film. I think it's got a nostalgic benefit for some people, it might be quite sweet. It's actually quite well edited and pretty decent in that regard, but the narrative for me could have been quite a lot better.